Hey guys, it's Iron Man here, and today we are going to be taking a look at a scenario where Spain forms an empire. So let's get started here. Basically, the first country that Spain's going to end up invading here won't really be an invasion. I guess it will be more like forced annexation. They will be forcing what is it called? They will be forcing Andorra to unite with them because if Spain and no, because if Andorra doesn't unite into Spain, honestly, Andorra is quite frankly screwed. Like they stand no chance on their own. Like Andorra is not in a great position as it is already, being definitely vulnerable to a microstate, being definitely vulnerable to either the Spanish or the French, and for this scenario they just fall victim to the French. So anyway, let's get on to the next scenario. So the next thing that's gonna end up happening here is the Spanish are gonna end up declaring war on a country here. So we are gonna see what country they declare war on in just a second. So the first invasion that Spain is actually gonna be doing here is gonna be of Morocco. So let's get started with this invasion. And so for now we're ignoring Gibraltar, and you know what, Ceuta and Melilla are still saying, so let me just color that in. But yeah, let's get started. So Ceuta and Melilla, Spain just kind of like sends troops navally there, and what is it called? And they managed to make a pretty good front, Ceuta and Melilla, and now they're not really just an exclave of Spain. They're just kind of like their own thing. Like they're doing pretty well for themselves. Like they're not obviously not independent, but like they're more than just an exclave. Like they're definitely part of Spain now. And now finally Spain is gonna end up landing in Morocco, which is definitely to the displease of the Moroccans. As what is it called? As Spain actually manages to get pretty far here, just because of the succession of Andorra, which definitely maybe helped them get a little bit richer. It definitely helped them somewhat. And sorry guys, I did not mean that. Such I think something like this. Yeah, I think it was like just like something like that. But yeah, eventually Spain ends up kind of like taking out a lot of their like major areas here. And what is it called? For this scenario, Western Sahara is already independent, so there is no Western Sahara to worry about here. But eventually, it's gonna come to a point where the Moroccan government is just kind of screwed, just ultimately screwed here. And so yeah, eventually what is it called? The capital of Rabat is encircled, and the Battle of Rabat happens. Rabat is taken, and with a lot of Morocco's major areas along the coast and over here being taken, with a lot of this happening, what is it called? And Morocco kind of being squeezed down into three small parts. What is it called? Morocco is ultimately going to surrender into Spain because there wasn't really much that they could do. But let's take a look at this peace treaty. So taking a look at this peace treaty here, we can see that Spain has fully annexed Morocco, and so let's get on to the next invasion slash, I guess, like, whatever. So yeah, let's get on to the next one. So the next thing Spain's going to be doing here is they're going to send Western Sahara an ultimatum to join them or die. And even though Western Sahara dying would take a lot of time, Western Sahara just kind of decides to join Spain here. And so let's take a look at Spain's new borders. And also the reason they did just automatically join them is because Western Sahara is a new country and they really don't have much of a military. And are definitely not the most economically stable just yet, at least. So yeah, let's take a look at this. So taking a look at Spain's new borders are actually quite nice. Like they have taken out the entirety of Western Sahara here. What is it called? And now they are going to be moving on to another country. So let's get started. So the next thing Spain's going to be doing here is they're going to be deploying troops from the Baltic Islands for an invasion of Algeria. So these invasions actually go very well, as pretty much all these. Well, it was like from like the main one in the middle, like the one I just marked this point under. So yeah, things are actually going to go pretty well over here. As what is it called? Wait, hold on. As yeah, things are going ultimately just like great for Spain over here. Even though Algeria was pretty strong, they've definitely gotten stronger from Morocco and Western Sahara. So what is it called? Yeah, we can ultimately see that a lot of Algeria's important lands were taken, and the Sahara Desert is slowly being pushed into. And eventually, some of the troops left from Morocco. I guess like Morocco, Western Sahara are gonna come down here, and are also gonna go up where I was pointing in just a second ago. And eventually, all these troops are just gonna kind of like go over here, and there has been small successions from the main Moroccan land, and like not just like kind of like near Western Sahara or whatever. But basically what ends up happening here is a good amount of what is it called, Algerian land ends up getting taken here. Eventually, what is it called, these two fronts end up meeting up. And what is it called? Wait, what happened there? But yeah, these two fronts end up meeting up, and eventually Algiers is separated from the rest of Algeria, and eventually, what is it called? With the main Spanish army landing on the coast of Algeria, the Battle of Algiers happens, leading to an ultimate what is it called? Leading ultimately to an Algerian loss. So with this, Algeria doesn't have much to live for after this, so Algeria just kind of surrenders. So let's take a look at this peace treaty. And so taking a look at this peace treaty here, we're going to see that Spain has taken most of the important parts of Algeria, and whoops, that was an accident. Yeah, but Spain has taken most of the important parts of Algeria, and what is it called? The rest of it they've made into a puppet state. So anyway, let's get started with the next invasion. So taking a look at Spain's next invasion here, it is going to be of... Hold on, I'm sorry. So yeah, Spain's next invasion here, it is going to be of Tunisia. So let's get started with this invasion. So Spanish troops end up kind of just entering into Tunisia pretty easily here. And what is it called? They kind of forced Algeria to give them military access here, which Algeria wasn't too happy about, but once again, puppet state of Spain. So what is it called? Yeah, they do end up taking a good portion of land up here, and eventually the Spanish are just gonna kind of like go over here and wrap around the Tunisian coast as best they can, and eventually this part of Tunisia is separated from the rest of it, and what is it called? Eventually Tunis is going to be captured here, and so yeah, the remainder of Tunisia just surrenders. So let's take a look at this peace treaty. So taking a look at this peace treaty here, Spain has annexed most of Tunisia, and the remainder of Tunisia is now a vassal state to Spain. So let's get on to Spain's what is it called, last invasion. But right before that, Spain will be giving what is it called, a country an ultimatum here to join them or die. So basically what's going to end up happening here is Spain's going to be forcing Malta to join them, and they're also going to be buying an island off of a country, which is going to be Italy, and they're going to be buying Sardinia for definitely a hefty price. So let's get on to, you know what? Yeah, let's get on to Spain's last invasion here. So Spain's final invasion is going to be of Portugal here. So what Spain's going to end up doing is they're just going to end up kind of pushing into Portugal as fast as they can. And this is actually going to go pretty well for the Spanish Empire, I guess you could call it now. And yeah, they end up making some like pretty major gains, and this is definitely like looking like a Spanish Empire for sure here. And basically what's going to end up happening here is what is it called? Is finally Portugal is pushed into too much, and it just come to a point where Portugal kind of realizes they're screwed. So they're not about to surrender, but they're kind of thinking about it. But with even more successions and Portugal not really being able to push the Spanish back, what is it called? Eventually, Lisbon is taken, and well, now this kind of gives the country an excuse to surrender, so they just surrender. So anyway, let's take a look at this peace treaty here.